Hey guys, it's Sophie. So I wanted to talk to you about a readathon I'm going to do. I've never made a readathon before, I don't think I've ever made a proper readathon, with challenges and stuff. I've done lots of read this thing with me, but this is my first one. And before I go into all of the detail, firstly, I started this because this is something I really wanted to do, and I've made it all for me, a bit like the spreadsheet stuff, and I was like, I should share it, let's do it as a readathon. So, before I start, I do want to mention that another content creator has also made a readathon around the same subject matter. They made it about 3 months ago. Their name is Nefer Entertainment, but I have watched their video and looked at their prompts, looked at the way they put it together, and this is a substantially different thing. As I said, this is something I was going to do for me, but what I want to do is just acknowledge that they had made a readathon with the same name, and they're a much smaller content creator. So if you would like to go and check out their video and see what they've put together, see how their readathon went, absolutely do. I don't want to be taking space from other people, but I think the things I want to do with this are different enough that I still feel fine to go forward with it. So this readathon is focused around self-care. So the reason I was talking about wanting to do something for myself is, you guys know, I've been doing a lot of study. My study will finish at the very end of May, and I want to spend a month looking after myself and getting my shit sorted is kind of how I would do it. My emotional shit, my practical shit, all of the stuff I put off. And I've done a readathon to go with some prompts about how to use a month to kind of sort your shit out. That's the idea behind it. So we'll run through the book prompts, which is the main readathon. You can do one or the other, doesn't matter, to kind of explore what it is. So for those of you who are not super into the self-care space, self-care is very much not just bubble baths, not just relaxing spa day stuff. Self-care can be quite challenging and quite difficult because it requires you to do stuff that's sometimes uncomfy or you don't do very well, or else you kind of be doing it already. And I think the wellness industry and self-care are two very different things. But there are kind of 8 recognised areas of self-care, which are different areas where you can look after yourself to try and keep yourself resilient and balanced in your life. So the reading prompts are based around each of the 8 areas of self-care. So the first area is physical, and the challenge for this is to read a book which has movement on the cover. So that could be people movement, water flowing, something in motion on the cover. The next area of self-care is psychological, and for this prompt you can read whatever book you want, but at the end you need to take 10 minutes to reflect on what you've read. That could be in the form of a YouTube video, a review, or it could be a Goodreads review, it could be just you jotting down some notes, it could just be you sitting there thinking about what it is you've read. So a bit more engagement. And for this one I chose it because psychological well-being is quite often related to reflecting on how things have gone in your life, or practices like meditation, that kind of activity, or gratitude journals. And for reading, I thought, let's reflect on what we've read, let's see what we've learned or haven't, see what we've liked or haven't. Then the next area is emotional. So for this prompt, the ask is to choose a book from your TBR or from your to read list that you have a feeling about. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a good feeling. It could be read the book that intimidates you the most, read the book that you find most challenging, or it could be read the book you think will bring you most joy, or a book you've got lots of excitement about. But I want you to choose a book that sparks something that you can notice, that's an emotion that comes up when you think about that book, rather than just yeah, that one will do. I want you to find whatever that spark is and read that book. The next area is social, and I think this is going to be a hard prompt for me, but social is read a book which features a healthy relationship. So I read a lot of books that feature unhealthy relationships, and the whole book doesn't need to be soft and squishy, but somewhere in the book there needs to be a relationship that you think, at least if you haven't read it yet already, but you think is a healthy relationship. You're not going in reading about a relationship that you know is abusive before you even start the book. The next area is professional. So for this one, the challenge is to read any non-fiction book that you like. Then the next area of self-care is environmental, and that means your physical surroundings. So for this one, the book on the cover or in the title needs to have a home a space or something from outside, like trees, plants, mountains, whatever, but it has to be an environment, whether that's inside or outside. The next area is spiritual, so all of the religion's spiritual well-being comes into this camp. This isn't one I engage in very often. I don't think of myself as a very spiritual person, but for this one I want you to choose a book which explores an idea in a way that you wouldn't agree with. So like as an example, you might read someone else's perspective, you might choose a non-fiction book that you don't automatically agree with the premise of, you might choose a book with an unreliable narrator, and I'm kind of asking for like an extension of empathy, I guess, in this one. You could also take it as reading someone who has a different religion than you or a different spiritual practice, but the idea is to kind of look at what other people might believe and why. And then the last area of self-care is financial. And for this one, I'm going to caveat it, don't do anything illegal, but I want you to read a book without spending any money on that book. So I'm thinking like libraries, borrowing it from a friend, a reread, a TBR read, but this one can't be a new buy book. You can't spend money to acquire this book, but please do not also steal books. Okay, so that is the prompts. There's only 8 reading prompts. Obviously you can do whatever you want with them, combine them, make them up. I don't mind. I've tried to leave them like fairly open, but give some examples of the types of things I'm thinking through, but they are totally up for interpretation. And because I'm pairing this with some checklists of like self-care activities, I want to run this over a month. So I'm going to run this from the 1st of June to the 30th of June, and I'm going to be sharing the checklists for both the readathon prompts and also the daily prompts that I've made that you can do in your real life to look after some of your own self-care. But I will go through what's in each week. So I've put them in, so there's 7 per week. But you don't have to do 1 a day. You could do 2 on one day, none on another, it doesn't matter. And it also really doesn't matter if you don't do all of them. But the idea is to give you some ideas about some things you can do, and maybe you do more than you would have done if you weren't participating in the readathon. So the checklist for week 1 is to clean a space in your home, to do a favour for someone, to find a new recipe, make yourself a cold drink, I'm thinking that because it's June, plant something and go for a walk. And then for every week, there's a stackable aim. So you can do this just the once, or if you want to stack it, you can put it on for the whole week. So do it every single day, or you can carry it forward. So you might do it for the next week, every single day. But the final and stackable one, should you choose, is eat 1 more fruit or vegetable than you normally would in that day. Then the week 2 checklist is do a task that you've been putting off, buy yourself a small food treat, something that just tastes good, text a friend to say that you're thinking of them, donate some clothes you no longer wear, draw something, have an hour where you have no obligations, you have nothing to do within that hour that's a task, and then the stackable aim is move your body in a way that feels good. And then the week 3 checklist, this top one is going to do me in, but it's check you've booked any dentist or optician's appointments that you need to book, say thank you to someone, find a new podcast to listen to, say no to something, wear something that makes you feel confident, and finish your workday on time. And then the stackable aim for that week is make enough time, ooh, nearly dropped my laptop, make enough time to get enough sleep. Then for week 4, we have set a boundary, change your bed sheets or your pyjamas, no screen time 30 minutes before bed, connect with someone new, like reach out to someone you're not already friends with, put on something that smells good, hand cream, perfume, whatever, unfollow someone on social media who doesn't make you feel good. And then the stackable aim for that week is to spend half an hour outside. Then week 5, because it's a 30-day week, is only just 2. So it's pay someone a genuine compliment and buy yourself a new pair of socks. Because I think everybody loves socks and it's inexpensive. I've tried to make it so there's not a lot of buying on here to try and make it as accessible for as many people as possible. But yeah, that's the challenge. I'm going to be doing it in June and challenging myself to read a few of these challenges and just do something a bit fun with my reading and also look after myself. Yeah, that's the video. I will leave links to where you can find all of the like downloadable bits that you might need. You can print them out, I've done them as PDFs that you might want, and all the details of the readathon will be down below. Let me know what you think, and yeah, I'll make a video at some point, I'm sure, sharing my TBR and what I'm going to be reading, and I may well vlog it, like the reading part of it, throughout the time period. Maybe I'll tell you about whether or not I finally booked my dentist appointment, but I'm gonna just like at least update you on how it goes, and I'm really excited. I think I needed to like schedule myself some time to sort my own self-care out. Alright, I hope you guys are doing good, and I'll see you in my next video. Look after yourselves until then. Bye!